if I say anything and somebody misses it, then it'll be here. So I have somebody joining from my iPhone, but I don't have a video. If you want to let me know who you are, then I can mark it for attendance. Because there are 16 of these classes. It's once a week for an hour for 16 weeks. So we'll be together on Tuesdays until April. And if you come to 10 of the 16 classes, then I'll send you a t-shirt. I have 3 colors. I have gray, I have a teal blue, and then this is kind of a salmony pink. I don't know why the colors don't come through online very easily, but maybe you can kind of tell the colors. And they all have the same information on there. And I ordered nice soft ones too. So they say Tai Chi for fall prevention. That's the class we do. And it says seeking balance every day. And then the back, it says our principles. And these are our Tai Chi principles that we follow and that I talk about every single class. And that is upright posture, slow, smooth, and continuous, weight transfer, gentle resistance, no tension, and then it says namaste. And that's how we end all of our classes. So that's the shirt. If you come to 10 of the 16 classes, then you can get a shirt and I'll mail it to you. Hopefully y'all have gotten my mail. Maybe not yet. Sometimes the mail runs slow, but if you can send me your information on the registration form, then I like to have that on file just in case. I've never had anything happen, but you know, if you were to fall and you weren't responsive, I would want to make sure I could get help to you. So that's always number one in my mind is safety. So return that as soon as you can. If you have any questions, let me know. If you've gotten my letter, then you have my direct office line. If not, this is my direct office line. I don't know if you can see it, but it says 912-292-9052. And that goes directly to my office. Can y'all see that? Is it too blurry?
I see it.
Okay. You know, I'm a real big technology person. I write it on a paper and hold it up. Y'all are in good hands, I promise. So if you need to call me, you can call me here. Y'all got it? Okay. Let me know if I need to hold that up again. But every class that I do is on recording. Let's see, we got Sharon coming in. So I record every class and upload it to my YouTube page. And so if you're a Claris user, then you have a button on your Claris tablet that goes straight to YouTube. If not, I'm going to share my screen and show you what it looks like. Here's my YouTube page. Share. All right, so this is my YouTube page. This is what it looks like. If you type in to the search engine right here, SOWEGA, and that's SOWEGA, that stands for Southwest Georgia, SOWEGA. Jennifer Crosby, if you search that, you easily find my page. Let me just do it even though it's already up, just to show you what comes up. So, oh, there I am, right here, SOWEGA. Here's my picture. You can access it either way. So I'll click here, and there's my classes. Now, you remember how I told y'all a while ago that I'm realizing mistakes I made? Well, you see how this class says SOWEGA December 5th, and today I just put today's date in AM. So I'll actually go back and change that to SOWEGA. But every time I do a class, I upload it to this Facebook page, and it'll typically say SOWEGA and the date. This morning's has AM, and this afternoon's will say PM. And so that's for you to rewatch class if you want to re-listen to something, or if maybe you missed class, something came up, because that does from time to time, and you don't want to feel like you missed anything. So people use it for different reasons. I got somebody else coming in. So that will come up on the list of videos. Here is the home page, but if you click on videos, then they're in order. So, of course, my last class ended in December, and that was my last class. And then this morning was my first class. And so you'll see they're in order. Alongside of the class videos, you see this button that says playlists. You can click on that, and there's this called Tai Chi. And if you push view full playlist, then they're shorter tutorials of each of the different movements that we learn. So we always do a warm-up, and here I have warm-ups, no talking, warm-ups, talking. So those are all of our warm-ups. But one of our warm-ups is neck stretches. And so you might just want to review the neck ones or the shoulder ones. So you can scroll down, and here's all of the videos that I've made that are for tutorials for you. So this is separate than the class, but this is what we learn in class. So if there's a certain thing that you want to practice, then you can go into this playlist, Tai Chi, and just click on, whatever it is that you want to practice. So this is just what I call tutorials for you to practice. If you ever see something that you want that's not there, let me know, because I listen to you. So you'll see mirror image. So there are some movements where I'm facing you, doing it in mirror image. And then there are some videos where I have my back turned. And so you'll see right here where it says brush knee back turned. People learn differently. So let me know what works for you, and I will make a video if that's what you need. It's no problem at all for me to record a video and upload it to this playlist. But that's the YouTube page, and generally as soon as class is over, I upload it to this page. Are there any questions about this YouTube page? The only thing I can think of is that right now on the Zoom meeting, you can see each other, but when it comes to the Tai Chi YouTube page, you're not on the video. I'm the only person on the video, so you don't have to worry about you being out there in the internet, out there. So, you might not mind, but I'm the only one on recording, and that comes up on the video. So that's why on this page, right now we're back in Zoom, I have myself pinned. So I'm the biggest picture, and then all of y'all are the little pictures. And so I just, I prefer for y'all to have your camera on, just so I can make sure that you're okay. I'm not judging you. I just want to make sure that you're safe. And so that's something that is important to me. There may be times when you need to turn it off for different reasons, or your sound off. I understand, but overall, I would like for you to keep your camera on for safety. And just know you're this tiny little box up here. You see what everybody else sees, and I'm the big picture. So the class that we're going to be doing is Tai Chi for Falls Prevention. It is a class that was designed by Dr. Paul Lamb. He is a medical doctor as well as a Tai Chi expert. And so his focus in his Tai Chi teaching is to improve on, well, here it's falls prevention and also pain from arthritis. He has other programs that focus on diabetes, osteoporosis, rehabilitation, back pain. There's other programs that he wrote, but this one specifically is what the National Council on Aging supports for us to do. And by us, I mean wellness program coordinators that work for the Area Agency on Aging or of the like. So if y'all remember Miss Robin, she worked for SOWEGA Council on Aging, and she used to teach Tai Chi for the SOWEGA area. And when she left to change jobs, she asked if I would take over her class. So some of you may remember her, some of you may not. But I was happy to take over these classes. And so in our class, there is a mixture of people from all over South Georgia, which I think is really cool. So we have people from Albany, and we have people, I'm mixing up the classes, but we have people in Hazelhurst, Glenville, Savannah, so all across South Georgia, and it's open to anybody in the state. So that's kind of the beauty of offering things virtual. So this program specifically is falls prevention. And because of that, it is Sun style Tai Chi. It is spelled S-U-N, just like the sun. And what that means is it is a higher stance Tai Chi. So you probably have seen Tai Chi on a movie or television or other places where they're really squatted down low. And that's not what we do here. Obviously, that would be a deterrent for trying to increase our ability to not fall. So this has a higher stance. We also have a modifiable program. So you can do this program seated, you can do it standing, you could do it with the support of the chair based on your needs. What I want to say to you is always listen to your body. It is important for you to feel safe. If there is a movement that you don't feel comfortable doing, we can talk about a modification that would be appropriate for you. We don't have to do it in the middle of class. We can do it after class, and I can help you. We can do a Zoom meeting just like this. I never mind to do that. But always feel free to call out and ask me questions in the middle of class. Don't feel like you can't interrupt me and say, hey, I don't understand what you're talking about, or I don't see you, or whatever your needs are. It's just important that you're safe and that you listen to your body. So we can make modifications to this program. If you do use a chair, make sure that it is a sturdy chair. It may seem silly to have to say, but I want to say it for the sake of safety. Don't use a chair like this that has wheels, because if you try to lean on it and for support, then it's going to roll out from under you. So you want to use a chair that's stable and is not going to go anywhere. Also, this floor is carpeted, so it's a little more difficult for a chair to push across of it. So if you have a wooden floor or vinyl floor, just test and make sure that the chair doesn't push across of it easily to see if it's slippery or not. Sometimes I use this table right here for support. Sometimes I use this wall here for support. But just knowing that you have something to rely on in case you do lose your balance. or you can do it completely seated. So there are some options there. Again, let me know what your needs are. I've had classes that wanted to do strictly seated Tai Chi. That was fine with me. And I had classes that never wanted to sit down. I let my classes guide me based on their needs. And if we have a mixture of that, then we do a little of both. In this class, you may be here for falls prevention, but you're going to get lots of other benefits too. Probably the number one reason I love Tai Chi is because we finally have the opportunity, or I finally have the opportunity to slow down and stop being in a hurry. Even if it's just for 1 hour in a week, I can slow down. And that's so helpful for me to help reduce the stress and anxiety and sometimes depression, that I can breathe. Just be slow. That's what I love about Tai Chi. That's what I get out of Tai Chi. But because we do a lot of, or because our movements are based in our principles, and one of our principles is weight transfer, shifting our weight from one leg into the other, that helps strengthen our muscles. And that those muscles help. When they become stronger, they become stabilizers. And so, of course, when our muscles are strong and stable, then that improves our balance and coordination. If you've ever tried to shift weight and move slowly, step, shift weight slowly, then you realize it's a little more difficult, or it's challenging in a different way to move slow versus to walk fast. And so that challenges those muscles, and that's how it improves balance and coordination. Because of a lot of the movements we do for stretching our major joints, it allows us to become more flexible and have better mobility. And anytime we can move our bodies more or better, then we're going to decrease our chances of falling. Because it's a physical activity, then we increase our stamina. You know, not everybody can just stand up for an hour. That's a lot. So if you ever need to take a break, please do. If you need to go from doing standing Tai Chi to seated Tai Chi, please do. Always listen to your body. You'll hear me talk about principle a lot. We have principle that involves movement control, body structure, and an internal aspect. The movement control part of Tai Chi is about pace of our movements, and that is slow, smooth, and continuous. That's the nature of our movements. Another part of movement control is what we call gentle resistance. Now, we, as people who live on Earth, are constantly working against gravity. And gravity is what gives us weight, and that is resistance. And so anytime we pull our hands up, then our arms are moving against gravity. But we can have added resistance by imagining we're moving through water or through thick air, and we engage muscles that we wouldn't necessarily have to engage if we're just moving naturally and not thinking about that air being thick. That's gentle resistance. That's engaging muscle to help make it stronger. Other principle, body structure. And this is where I will live on your shoulder, and I will talk to you even outside of class, talking about upright posture. So we want to have nice posture, like a string is pulling up to the ceiling and down to the ground. Nice posture, relaxed shoulders, and no tension right here. Upright posture. So imagine if you're a person that leans forward when you move, and I'm sure you've seen people that move with a lean, you're already going towards falling. So if we practice upright posture then our bodies are over our hips and our feet, and we're less likely to fall. So upright posture is one of our principles in Tai Chi. Y'all don't worry, there's not a test on this, and I'm going to say all of this. I'm going to mention our principles throughout our movements. So this isn't the first time you'll hear it. The other about body structure, and I mentioned it before about weight transfer, we shift our weight from one leg into the other leg as we move to do our Tai Chi movements. Now, sometimes you might want to hold on to your chair and totally skip the arm movements, but that weight transfer is so important in strengthening those muscles. If you can't do it standing, even with the support of a chair, you would want to sit down in a chair, have your feet stable, connected to the floor, and push that foot into the floor, release, and push the other foot into the floor to engage muscle to hopefully get you stronger and able to do weight transference standing. Somebody spent some money on a study that proved that the more likely you are, the more capable you are of holding your weight on one leg, then the less likely you are to fall. So that seems maybe like a big duh, but that's what we're doing when we weight transfer. We're shifting the weight to one leg, holding the weight on one leg while we move the other. And this is just one example of the movement. We want to keep that upright posture as we transfer the weight. The final principles are internal principles. The first is called SONG, S-O-N-G. That's our open joints, okay? So this has to do with our elbows and our knees specifically, because those are the two sets of joints that we lock the most. So you've heard of locking your arms or locking your knees. We don't want to do that in Tai Chi because we want the energy to flow through our joints. And by energy, I mean life energy. Okay. So life energy is the difference between us right here and a body in a casket. We're both bodies, but one body has life. And so with Tai Chi, our goal is to increase our life. And one way we do that is through open joints. So we'll have movements that I'll tell you to have your arms extended. So my arms are extended. There's a soft bend here, but my arms aren't extended like Frankenstein. I'm not lock joint. So that's a principle. And then finally, Jing, J-I-N-G. Jing is mental quietness. You probably won't experience that principle in this class very often, especially in the beginning, because it requires an environment to be quiet, or to have the Tai Chi music that sets the environment in a relaxed way. But when an instructor is talking and instructing, it's hard to experience that. But that's Jing, mental quietness. And the further class goes along, we'll have more opportunities to experience that. But for now, we are enjoying, or we are learning and enjoying the process of learning. Tai Chi is a journey. There's no perfect Tai Chi, so don't put pressure on yourself to be perfect. It's going to feel awkward. We're going to do movements that you may have never tried before, and so it's okay to feel awkward. Dr. Lamb, who wrote this program, says you'll feel awkward for about 3 or 4 months, and that's the majority of that class. Of course, you can take class again. I have people that have been taking my class for almost 3 years. All right, before I get us started with movements, does anybody have any questions? All right. I'll keep looking out the window at the weather to make sure that it hadn't come to an end out there. Okay, so I have Honora, Jackie, Sharon, Samantha, and then I have an iPhone. Whose iPhone is this? Right.
Jennifer, I'm pretty sure that is Marilyn.
Oh. Oh, okay.
I'll double check.
Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't even think to look on my list. Oh, 7. Oh yeah, that is Marilyn.
It's Marilyn.
Okay. Marilyn, can you hear me? Okay. I will see what's going on with that. All right, y'all. So if you can and will have your camera turned on so I can see you and make sure that you're safe. And the first thing that we're going to do is walk around, open and closing our hands. As I walk and open and close and do this arm curl, I want to introduce myself for those of you who have no clue who Jennifer Crosby is. I apologize for not doing that first thing. Y'all, I'm sure all of us have this weather in the forefront of our mind, and we're just like pretending that life is normal. So, excuse me for not introducing myself, but my name is Jennifer Crosby. I work at the Heart of Georgia Altamaha Area Agency on Aging, and that's in Baxley, Georgia. We cover 17 county areas. 17 counties in our area. I've had my job for it'll be 23 years this year, and I've been teaching Tai Chi for 12. I've been teaching virtual for 2 years consistently. I teach 2 at a time, and I teach 2 different times a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. I love teaching virtually. It's always kind of awkward getting the new class started, but we'll get to know each other and get comfortable with each other. You'll hear me talk about my kids. I have 2 kids. I have Patrick. He's 19. He goes to college at Andrew College. He plays baseball there. And I have a daughter who's 15. She's in high school. She's a freshman, and she is a dancer. And so you'll hear me talk about them. I have a husband too. I've been married for 21 years. And I don't mention him. He's not nearly as impressive as my children. But that you will hear me talk about them quite a bit, because I think my life and world just revolves around them. But anyway, that's just a little bit about me. You know who I am, and I'm so glad you're here and glad you're joining me. All right, so we should be warmed up. You know, depending on the weather, when it's really cold outside, it may take a little bit longer for your muscles to warm up. But when it's warm, our muscles are already acclimated to that temperature. Sometimes I'll bring in a space heater into this room to make sure the air is warm, so my muscles are warm. When your muscles are warm, you're less likely for injury. So you see, I'm in a nice, stable stance. So that means my feet are about hip width or shoulder width apart. Excuse me. If my feet were too close together, I wouldn't feel very stable. If my feet were too far apart, then I'd have a hard time moving. So I have to find that nice, happy medium for me that feels most stable, and that's about hip or shoulder width apart. My feet are flat on the floor, and weight is on both of my both of my feet. I have that nice upright posture. Like I said, that string that pulls up and down. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm not holding any tension in those shoulders. And that gets us in a way to start our movements. Something I didn't mention are clothes that you wear to do Tai Chi in. You want to be comfortable. You want to be able to move in your clothes. You don't want your pants to be too long, so where you can trip over them. I've done that before. I wore overalls one day, and the bottom was real flowy, and I got tripped up in them. So I typically wear pretty fitted clothes, and that helps you see the movement too. Also, the shoes I wear are very flat. You may be more comfortable with a more cushioned shoe. That's no problem with that. But what I don't want you wearing are backless shoes or flip-floppy type sandals, because your foot isn't stable in that shoe. You can come out of that shoe very easily. I've had people come to class and, they had been somewhere and they forgot shoes. Can they go barefoot? Can they just take their shoes off? Well, that is a personal preference. If you were in my class in person, I would say I would prefer you not. But you're in your home and you can look at your floor and see if anything's on the floor that you may step on, trip over. You know, I've had people step on push pins before, and if you're a diabetic, that's a terrible idea. You may not even know you have a push pin in your foot. So always check your environment, but try to wear shoes if you can help it. Try not to do this barefoot. I know some people have cultural reasons why they don't wear shoes in their homes. And so you may have shoes that are designated just for inside. And so I just want you to be stable and connected to the ground in your footwear and not have anything that's going to increase your chances of falling. All right, now we're going to go through our warm-up stretches. We do 2 movements for our major joints, which includes our neck, our shoulders, our spine, our hips, our knees, and our ankles. So starting with our neck, we have our hands to our side. We're going to bring our hands up, palms down, stopping at just shoulder height, turning our hands, pulling them towards our chin and chest, turning our hands and pushing them away from us. Remember, keeping that soft bend in our elbow, and then following those hands as we lower them. And you should feel a little stretch in the back of your neck. Let's do that again. Bringing those hands up, turn towards our chin and chest, turn, push away from our bodies, and following those hands all the way down. In terms of breathing, I like to inhale as I come up, exhale as I pull and push, and then I'm about ready to take another breath as I come down. Now, we're all different. We all have different lung capacities. So you breathe in a way that is comfortable for you, but most importantly, breathe. Try not to hold your breath. And we're going to talk more about breath, specifically diaphragmatic breathing, as the class goes on. But right now, I just want you breathing at a natural pace. Our other neck exercise starts out the same way as we come up towards our chin and chest. Now I want you to drop one hand to your hip and follow this other one as you look towards your shoulder. Feel a little stretch in your neck and then come back to the front. Switching hands. One hand goes towards your hip, the other you follow as you look towards that shoulder. So we're going to go side to side. Typically we do 3 on each side. Now if I accidentally ever do 4 or 5, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. We just try to stick to 3s. Which reminds me, I told my Wednesday class last week that I would look up what was the deal with threes. I told them it had something to do with the Holy Trinity, but I don't know. I got to look that up. So if y'all know, y'all might can share it with me. So you don't go as far as you can go. You just go until you feel that slight stretch. And you may notice that the third time you do that movement, you may go a little bit further. It's a little easier than it was that first time. And that's improving the mobility of this joint. So those two are for our neck. Any questions about those two? Okay, next is for our shoulders. So we're going to have our hands to our side. Again, relax shoulders, nice stable stance, and we're going to roll our shoulders forward. Small circles, thinking about the size of a quarter as you roll forward. And then roll back. Roll back. That may feel like a little massage you give yourself. Roll forward and then roll back. All right. Excuse me a second. I'm going to go turn the air on in this room. It's hot. It made it to 77, y'all. Keep this door open too. All right, it has been a while since I've said I was hot. So that's the first one for our shoulder, where we roll forward and then we roll back. The second one for our shoulder, it's like a big arm circle. So we take our hands palms up and we come up to about shoulder height. Turn our palms down in front of us and push down. So we come up and push down. Inhale up and exhale down. And so you, based on your breathing, you control your movement to match your breath. Inhale up, exhale down. So those two are for our shoulders. Any questions about those two warm-up movements? Okay. Next is for our spine. These first three major joints, neck, shoulders, and spine. Notice so far, there's no leg movement. We're simply holding our weight on both legs. So you may feel a little tiredness in your legs or tiredness in your feet. And if you feel like you need to move a little bit, then just do a little march in place, just to have a little bit of a change in the stature of your legs, if you need that before you move on to the next movement. It also makes me think that if you don't have the endurance to stand for this long, these first three major joints have no leg movements. So you could start seated and do our neck, shoulder, and now our spine movements seated, and then stand up when we get to our weight-bearing joints. So that's an option for the future. If you're starting to feel like this is too much to stand this long, maybe you can start standing or seated next time before you stand and just switch it up that way. Remember, it's modifiable, and it's we can cater it to you and what your needs are. So for our spine, so I say we have a ball. So our hands are just like this, facing each other. Now, where you hold your ball is completely up to you. You may hold it a little bit lower. You may hold it a little bit higher, wherever you feel most comfortable. What I want you to recognize is that you're not holding tension in your shoulders. So here's what it looks like if you had tension. My shoulders are raised up a little bit holding my ball versus my shoulders are relaxed. So you can hold your ball anywhere, just don't have tension in your shoulders. Tension causes pain. And so we want to not have tension if we can help it. So have that ball. We're going to stretch our spine vertically. And we take this hand that's on top of our ball and we push it down towards the ground. Not completely straightening that arm. We keep that soft bend in our elbow. The hand that's on bottom of the ball comes up and presses up towards the ceiling. Again, soft bend in that elbow. I'm pushing up and down at the same time, stretching that spine. Come back to the ball and switch. So now the other hand pushes up towards the ceiling and this hand towards the ground. Come back to the ball. What I want to say about breathing, of course, breathe at your own pace. But what I like to do is inhale as I come to the ball and exhale as I separate. And I feel like that gives me a deeper stretch. So give that a try. But if you're not ready to worry about that breath, just breathe at your own pace as you go through this movement right now. I don't want to throw too many pieces and parts and new things to you. The main thing is that you're seeing the movement and experiencing the movement a little bit today. Each week we'll grow and learn it better. But every single time we'll do these warm-up stretches for our major joints. Our next spinal exercise stretches our spine horizontally. So the hand that's on top of our ball tells us the direction which we're going to move. So we're going to move our torso so that ball is just above that knee. Switch our hands and then come cross body until above the other knee. What we're not doing is going way over here as far as we can go. If we do that, we start stretching our spine. You may feel this knee pull. It just doesn't do anything to help us. I know in this world of more is better and we just got to do more. It's not the case in Tai Chi. So we're going just above that knee, switching our hands, coming across. And we always go in the direction of the hand that's on top. Switch, come across. Switch, come across. Switch, come across. Side to side. Back to center. And there. So those are the two movements for our spine, vertically and horizontally. Now we move to our hips, knees, and ankles. Specifically, our hips and knees, they're our weight-bearing joints. So these are most likely the joints that people have arthritis in, or have a need for joint replacements. Maybe you need a joint replacement or you've had a joint replacement. And so these are the most challenging movements of our warm-up stretches because of that, because they do bear our weight. So this is a time when you really want to think about what is your comfort level on holding your weight on one foot, because we're going to be shifting weight to one foot and moving the other, or shifting the weight to a foot and going forward and back. So that's what the movements look like. When we do our knees, we shift the weight to one foot and tap forward and punch. We step forward and shift to that front foot and back. So those are our hips and knees. So your comfort level in holding weight on one leg and moving the other leg will determine whether you may need to sit down to do this movement or stand using a chair. So I can do fake pretend chair as if I have a clear chair in front of me. And that basically means skipping the arm movements and holding on to the chair for balance. This weight transfer is so important in strengthening our muscles to help us with falls prevention. So this is where the magic happens. We incorporate it into our Tai Chi movements, but if you simply do weight transfer holding a chair, you're going to get those muscles stronger. You're going to increase or decrease your chance of falls. That's just outside of Tai Chi class. That's the basis of our program, is weight transfer. So the first one that we do, and make those decisions for you on where you need to be, we're going to shift our weight to one leg. The footwork is heel forward, pause in the middle, and then toe back. And you see how I went back at an angle, kind of like a kickstand. We'll shift the weight to the other leg, heel forward, pause in the middle, and toe back again, like a kickstand. I don't go straight back because that's the same as standing with my feet side by side. So it's back, toe back, out like a kickstand. Always maintaining upright posture. You may feel that draw to lean forward or lean back a little bit to counteract the movement of your leg, but resist that urge. Hold your body upright, even if you have to kind of squeeze the muscles in your torso to hold your body upright as you move. And that's going to help support your core by engaging those muscles and keeping your body upright. Leaning puts you towards falling. What do we do with our hands? Well, when we shift to one leg, when our heel is forward, our hands are back. So from the side, it looks like this. We pause in the middle, and then that toe goes back, and our hands are forward. I think of it as a leg swing. So it's heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, toe back, hands forward. Pause in the middle, heel forward, hands back, pause, toe back, hand forward. Come back to center, shift the weight, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, toe back, hands forward. Pause. And it's challenging to go slow. That's what helps that muscle become a stabilizer muscle. So that's that slow version. That's what we do in Tai Chi. But if you think of it as a dance move, then it would look like this, maybe, right? And that is a challenge in a different way than what we're doing. Same kind of movement. So slow, smooth, and continuous. It's a principle for our Tai Chi, and it has its reasons. The other movement for our hips, we shift the weight to one foot, and then we're going to tap and bring it back in. Now that may be scary to move that foot once the weight is transferred. That's where you can rely on that chair, or maybe you just leave it there. You shift the weight, but you don't lift and tap. It's wherever you're comfortable being. what do the hands do? We stack our hands like this, and we're going to move our hands in the direction of the weight shift. So here's our stacked hands. Shift the weight, staying upright, not leaning. Tap out, bring it back, switch our hands, shift, lift and tap. Bring it back, switch hands. Shift. Remember, hold on to your chair and skip the arm movements if you're not comfortable. That's a lot to ask your body to shift weight to one leg and lift and tap that other foot out. So remember, it's okay to feel awkward if it feels a little awkward to do these movements today. Hopefully it'll get less and less awkward. So those two are for our hips. And I imagine you do feel the challenge of the movements that bear our weight as we move. Next is for our knees. And so with our two knee stretch movements, we have a loose fist. And anytime we make a fist in Tai Chi, it's as if we're holding an egg that we don't want to break. I'll tell you what I always think about are those Cadbury eggs at Easter. And if you hold them too tight, they'll melt. But if you hold them loose, they won't. So you can think about those if you want to think about those chocolate eggs instead of the real eggs. But it's a loose fit either which way. We're going to punch, bring it back. So I typically will have my fist down by my hips like this. I'll punch out, back to my hips, punch out, and back to my hips. So do you see that little twist movement of my hand? Twist and back, twist and back. Okay, that's our hand movement. What our footwork is, shift the weight, lift, tap that toe. And our punch is the opposite hand of the toe that steps or that points out. Back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Remember, you can hold on to a chair and skip these punches. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Next, we are going to shift the weight and step out. Small step. So let me turn to the side and show you. Shift, step. Now, right now, both of my feet are flat on the floor. And in this movement, both feet stay flat on the floor. I'm going to shift weight to that front foot, keeping the back foot flat. Not all my weight is shifting, just a little bit. Shift the weight to that back leg, feet side by side. Shift, step, heel, toe. Shift forward, shift back, feet side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch. Notice I'm keeping my body upright. I'm not leaning into that shift. Shift, step, shift and punch. Bring it back, side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch. Bring it back, side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch. Bring it back. Side by side. Shift. Step. Shift and punch. Bring it back. Side by side. How was that? So we've survived our hip movements. We survived our knee movements. So those are our most challenging movements, and we'll just get better and better with those as our muscles get stronger. The last of our warm-up stretching is for our ankles. And so there's no arm movements here. So I hold mine in front of me, keeping no tension in my shoulders and that upright posture. I shift weight to one leg and I move my foot heel, toe, rocking that foot and that ankle joint. However flexible your ankle joint, it may be different than what mine looks like. Bring the foot back, shift, heel, toe. Heel, toe. Bring that foot back, shift the weight. And now the other one is big toe, little toe. So I'm going side to side with that foot. You ever find yourself seated a long time? Do some of these ankle movements and it helps with the circulation in your legs. Shift the weight, little toe, big toe. We take our ankles for granted. They are a weight-bearing joint, just like our hips and knees. We know of people who have weak ankles and are a lot of times twisting their ankle. So if we can get that muscle strong, then that can decrease our chance of falling. So just give yourself a nice kick and a shake. That's the end of our stretching. That's all we're going to learn today. We'll do it again next week and begin our Tai Chi movement, starting with commencement. But we always do our warm-up and our stretching. And then the other thing we do is cool down. And the way we cool down is take our loose fist and give our thighs a little fist massage. So whatever your comfort level in raising your leg, bring your thigh up and punch it. This right here, what it does is it breaks up lactic acid. And lactic acid is why your muscles get sore. And so you may have moved more in this session than you have in a while, or maybe you have moved in a different way. So be prepared to get a little bit sore, but this can help break up that lactic acid to decrease that soreness. The next thing that we do is what's called tense and release. And what we do is we get in that nice stable stance, we tense our muscles, and then we release and let it go. And this is to remind ourselves to not live in a state of tension, because tension can cause pain, and to learn that it feels better to let it go. So we tense and release. Tense and release. Then we repeat that shoulder circle where we bring our hands up and push down. Inhale up and exhale down. And then to finish class, we take our right fist, remember the loose fist, this represents our strength. Our left hands, all of our fingers together, represents our friendship. Our thumb, we bring in, and our thumb represents our humility. So we have strength, friendship, and humility. We put those together, and in mutual respect, we say, Namaste. Namaste that's the word that's on our shirt at the bottom under our principles. It spelled like this, Namaste. And what it means is that everything in me respects everything in you. And it doesn't matter if we're all different, we can still be respectful of each other. And so that word is adopted from the Eastern world. And so it is fitting that we use it in our Tai Chi class. Do I have any questions or comments today? It's 2:31. Okay. Know that as soon as I end this class, I will upload it to the YouTube page, and it will be available for you to watch. As I showed you in the beginning, it will be listed SOWEGA, the date, and this class will be PM. You have access to all the classes. You can watch them all if you want to, but you're not required to do anything. Remember, you do have the playlist. Under playlist in the Tai Chi, it has all the tutorials for you as we learn, and you need or want to practice. If you need anything from me, you have my direct phone number. If you need to do anything one-on-one or talk to me about any modifications, I'm here for you. You just let me know. So I'll let you guide me on your needs. All right. So if you don't have anything for me, then I will see you next Tuesday. Y'all take care and have a great week.
Thank you.
Welcome. Love y'all.